Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Dr. Mina Academic Hub. I'm Dr. Mina Hosseini, a Marie Curie alumna and researcher, lecturer, and lawyer. If you're applying for the MSCA Postdoctoral Fellowship, today's video will help you tackle one of the most important and most misunderstood parts of your application, the impact section. Did you know that impact counts for 30% of your MSCA score, second only to scientific excellence? Yet many strong applicants fall short here, either by being too vague, too technical, or simply underestimating what impact really means. Impact is not just a buzzword. It, it is a demonstrable contribution to society and the economy, as suggested by some funders. So the impact section of your MSCA proposal is a dedicated space for demonstrating your research wider value potential contribution, and it extends far beyond just the scientific breakthrough you anticipate. It's about clearly showing how your work will make a tangible difference to your career development, to advancing knowledge within your field and beyond, and to society at large, and ultimately to strengthening Europe's research and innovation landscape, because MSCA is funded by the European Union. So you have to show that relevance to European policies. So, what you will learn today is about understanding, identifying, learning, and recognizing. Understanding what impact truly means within the MSCA context, identifying the key components that your impact statement must include, learning how to craft a persuasive and engaging narrative for your impact, and recognizing common pitfalls and adopting best practices to avoid them. So, what impact means in the MSCA context, type of impact like career, scientific, societal, tips and evidence, storytelling and avoiding common mistake, and a real example from my own successful MSCA project. Let's get started. Impact in MSCA goes beyond research findings. It includes career growth, advancement of scientific knowledge, and broader societal benefits. So, for example, for career development, you have to show how the fellowship will upskill you. So, the fellowship is not just about the project, it's also about you, as I mentioned in my first video. You have to show scientific advancement, your research contribution, your academic contribution, and also societal value, real world challenges, real world changes, and public benefit. So, as I mentioned before, it's not just about publishing papers, it's about influence, uptake, and engagement. Is about the broader effects and benefit your research fellowship that will generate during and after the project lifetime. Let's be clear. Impact is not equal to outcomes. For example, publishing in Science or Nature is an outcome, but getting policymakers to act on your findings, that is impact. So impact equals benefit, outcome equals result. Impact must be linked to activities and backed by evidence of reach and significance. So type of impact beyond the lab are like scientific impact, contribute to the advancement of knowledge, new methodologies, cross-disciplinary opportunities, societal impact, address societal challenges such as health, environment, policy, culture, or citizen engagement. Type of impact could be like economic impact leads to innovation, new products, services, economic growth, impact on career development, enhances skills, knowledge, future employability through training, networking, new competencies. Think about that. Like spin out patents, increased funding, mentioning them as an impact. Even things like mentorship, leadership training, and future independence are powerful career impact. Don't underclaim here. If you're joining a leadership program or earning a teaching certificate, highlight it in your impact section. Why impact matters to evaluator. Evaluator reviewers look for projects that promise excellent science and a clear vision of broader benefit. Strong impact section shows you understand the MSCA goals to foster excellent research, develop career, and strengthen Europe's innovation capacity. Look, isn't just funding science, it's investing in people and policy change. Strong impact section shows you're aligned with EU goals like open science, inclusivity, and innovation. Communicating your research effectively, one of the golden rules. Avoid jargons, be concise, spell out technical terms, make it relatable. And yes, you can also include why I care element too. Communicate clearly to a diverse audience is important. You have to craft a compelling research story that highlights the problem, approach, outcomes, and significance. Dissemination, sharing your discoveries. This is how people knows about your research, like open access journals, conferences, podcasts, blogs, explainer videos, briefing, stakeholder engagement. For example, in my project COMPHACRISIS, shared results with EU policymakers during the COVID crisis was one of the impact. So dissemination spreads awareness via different ways like publication, conferences, workshops, popular articles, blogs, social media, public talks. You have to embrace open science practices whenever possible. So show off your dissemination activities and show up the impact of dissemination in your MSCA proposal. We are still talking about impact, but through different ways. Exploitation refers to the use of your results. Are you developing tools, influencing policy, exploring commercial routes? You can mention collaborating with a tech transfer office or developing educational software and the impact. So, exploitation creates value, products, service, policies, patents, highlight collaboration with non academic partner, specific pathway to impact. This is very important. Societal engagement. Connecting with the community. Societal engagement goes beyond dissemination. For example, collaborations with the schools, citizen science, museum exhibit. This is about two-way dialogue. Impact is stronger when it's co-creator. So, engage with society through public engagement, citizen science, museum, or advocacy group. These foster two-way dialogue and responsible research. This slide is about impact on career development. You can explain how MSCA will help you grow, like lead a work package, mentor junior researcher, join leadership or teaching program. These are excellent indicators of long-term value. So detail how the fellowship enhances research, transferable skills, networking, leadership, independence. Explain training through research aspect and also future career prospects. So look, I have to tell you this. Structure is everything. You can have a approach to about your impact story. You have to craft a narrative, define the problem, link activities to smart impacts, and outline short and long-term consequences with clear flow, like background, what's the problem? What did you do? What changed? How do you know? But be realistic. What does it matter to you? So telling your impact story is really important in your MSCA proposal. Use action verb and a specific quantified example, like publish in leading open access journals. What journals? Present at key conferences. Details what conference, and describe who benefits from your work and how they would benefit from your work. Instead of saying, we will share findings, say, we will publish in the Journal of Competition Law, for example. Or I will speak at the European Health Forum and reach 3,000 educators via YouTube. Specifically, when you define your goals and talk specifically, this will increase your score in your MSCA proposal. Visualizing impact pathway and using logic models or flowchart will help you shine. Inputs, activities, outputs, outcome, impact. Consider including a diagram flowchart to represent these impact pathways. From inputs to outputs, outcome, broader impact. Ensure visuals complement the text. What are common pitfalls to avoid? Overclaiming with no evidence, focusing only on dissemination, ignoring societal or career impact, and instead you have to aim for balanced, evidence, reader-friendly claim. So being too vague or generic about impact, my project will have a very important impact. Okay, but what, where, when? Making unrealistic claims. My project will change everything in the healthcare policy. But how? Focusing only on scientific impact and not aligning with MSCA objectives. Always focus on The objective mentioned in the MSCA documents, guidelines, EU documents. Best practices for a winning impact section. You have to link impact to research. You have to provide evidence like testimonials, policy citation, data, name names, journals, platforms, events, and be externally verifiable and credible. Be specific, concise, provide evidence. So be realistic, credible, and achievable claim. And also always remember you have to aligning with MSCA goals and tailor message for broad broader audience. For example, in my case, my project was about the enforcement of EU competition law in the pharmaceutical sector, but my audience, my proposal evaluators, and also um, mm, my readers, they may don't even know what competition law is. So I have to refine my project, my proposal for a broader audience. I have to tailor my message for these audience because audience is important in a research. Whenever you write a piece or proposal or article, you always have to consider who will read this piece, this proposal, this project outcomes. Show enthusiasm and clear vision because it's taxpayers' money. They want to fund your project, but you have to show that's why they would fund you instead of these thousands of people who apply. So recap of takeaways of this session. Impact extends beyond research findings. Detail, dissemination, and exploitation highlight career development impact. Very important part. Tell a compelling story and align impact with the MSCA objectives. So impact is about benefits. Evidence is essential. Career and community matter. And structure your narrative with intention. So for example, career development, postdoctoral training will be complemented with a teaching certificate, name a special certificate, and a leadership program. Name one in your host institution, aligning with the fellow's career plan to become a group leader. Societal impact. Research will be translated into guidelines for digital literacy curricula for EU school. It will enhance digital inclusion. For dissemination, results will be shared in open access journal. Name the journals, podcasts, give details, and a short video series targeting educators. Exploitation and intellectual property rights. Potential commercial application in educational software will be explored with the host tech transfer office details. Another example from my own project, my own finished MSCA project. The COMPHACRISIS project is expected to deliver substantial academic, societal, economic impact by enhancing competition law enforcement in the pharmaceutical sector before, during, and after a COVID-19 crisis. Academically, it will bridge legal, policy, economic discipline, contributing to leading journals. For example, this journal, that journal, this journal. Conferences, for example, ASCOLA, UASES, SLS conferences, law conferences, competition law conferences, policy conferences in European and competition law. Societally, it aims to protect citizen health and well-being by informing more effective public procurement stated antitrust policies during COVID. Economically, it proposed an effective health crisis competition law framework to guide future regulatory responses, influencing EU and member states' policies, and my project aligns with the pharmaceutical strategy for Europe. So this was another example from my own project. If you are working on your MSCA proposal, I hope this helps you feel more confident about the impact section. For more tips, examples, and tutorials, subscribe to Dr. Mina Academic Hub. Good luck, and remember, your research matters far beyond the lab.